So welcome back to my channel. My name is Beth and this is my January wrap up. It is the 31st of January and I probably will not finish any more books this month, so I was just going to come on here and tell you about my reads for January. I read 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 books. Let me talk about the ones I have not finished that I'm still reading. I'm reading Spines and Leaves by Shatona Havoc. I am 68% finished, and this is about a girl named Mercedes who is running a bookstore for her father who has had a surgery or some kind of sickness, and she's an accountant in San Diego, and this man who is really good with businesses has come in and he is helping her fix the bookstore up. And it's a novella, so I don't have too much more left on that, but I don't think I'm going to finish it today. I'm also reading Emma, and this was my mom pick. I'm on page 256. I have about 200 pages left. I'm not going to get this finished. Okay, so Emma is about a girl who says she's never going to get married, but she likes to fix other people up. Matchmaking, but anyway. So, I guess this is going to be a thing for me, but last year, the first book I read in 2023 was an Agatha Christie's. It was The Labors of Hercules. This year, it was Cat Among the Pigeons by Agatha Christie. No, it was not. No, it was not. It was Agatha Christie. It was Midwinter Murder, which is a collection of short stories, and I gave this 4 stars. I read it in a day, 24 hours, and this has several of, well, it has all of her sleuths in it. Like, it has Miss Marple, it has Hercule Poirot, it has, but my favorite was Sanctuary. And this is where Bunch is married to a pastor, and she goes to the church and she finds a man who is dying, and he's at the altar and he says a few things to her before he dies, and she then enlists the help of Miss Marple. And then I also like the story with Mr. Quinn, and it's at the end of the world. So, really good read. I enjoyed the short stories. They were quick, very fast paced, 4 stars. And I don't know that if I read it again, I wouldn't up it a star. So the next one that I read was one of my recommended by my 12 friends, and it was recommended by my great nephew, Eli, and it was The One and Only Ivan. And this is about a gorilla, a silverback gorilla, Ivan, and he has to help Ruby. They are in this circus in this mall, and so when Ruby comes in, he has to figure out a way to get them to a better environment. So it's really sweet, really wonderful, and I cried. I told my sister to tell him that the next time he recommends me a book, please make it one that does not make me cry. So I gave this 5 stars. The next one I read was Cat Among the Pigeons, and this was the read for Patreon, for Chantel's Patreons. This was the first book. I gave it 4 stars. I stayed kind of lost most of it, and it was a great book, and even had my favorite detective in it, which was Hercule Poirot, but he didn't come in until almost toward the end. And so I really wished he would have been in there. She's just like the PE teacher. She dies, and they have to figure out who killed her. And that's what this is about. There's also a princess in here, and she foretells her kidnapping. So that was kind of neat. The next one was Iron Flame. I picked this back up. It's by Rebecca Yarros. And I finished this. It just rips at my heart. I love the dragons in here. I love the characters in this book, the two main characters, Violet and Xaden. And Violet has just really been through it in this book. She just really goes through it. And she's going through this school. It's kind of like a flying school. She has to learn how to, fly on the dragon. And it's kind of like a war college is what it is. And so, yeah. And anyway, that's what it is. I gave it 5 stars. I didn't like the ending. And if you've been around here a while, you know that the last time I tried to read it, I spoiled myself for the ending. I knew how it was going to end. I was very mad. And so I didn't want to read it, and I put it down. But I decided I really needed to read it. So to just get it off my to be read part, and then, it would be done. But I did enjoy it more than I care to admit. So this is another one I picked up and then put back on my shelf. It was a soft DNF. And it's Happy Place. This is a second chance romance. This is by Emily Henry. I ended up giving this a 5-star. I knew I was going to love this book. I just had to get into the book. And I knew Emily Henry wasn't going to let me down. I was going to get my HEA, which was a happy ever after. Wynn and Harriet are just wonderful characters, but they have a communication problem, and they just need to be able to communicate. And that is what happens in a lot of relationships. So, I mean, it's true to form. So I did really enjoy it. I did give it 5 stars. The next one, I finished my reread of the series Saint Odd, and I'm sticking with my 5-star rating. I love this book. I can't really tell you anything about it, but Odd Thomas is the main character, and he sees dead people, and he tries to help them solve their murders and, go on to the other side, and he helps them just, he reassures them, and he tries to, he also tries to stop things from happening that really shouldn't happen. So I just really love it. But in this one, he's had a dream that the cultists are going to cause a flood in his hometown. And in this, he'll be pushed to the very edge. And it's a heartbreaking page-turner masterpiece. But then again, I think all Dean Koontz's books are masterpieces. So then the next one, I read A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. I gave it 4 stars. And I wasn't sure at first if I was going to like this. But Kel seemed to be a very different kind of character. And I really liked him, and I liked his point of view. And there are 4 Black Londons. This is a fantasy book. No, there are 4 Londons. There's a Black London, a White London, a Gray London, and a Red London. Black London has fallen, and White London is evil. Red London is where Kell lives. It's very colorful and true, and when Kell transports an illegal object across London's, he must right his wrong. He doesn't realize that there's the consequence. And he must also do so with Lila, who is a thief from one of the other Londons. It is pretty good. I really enjoyed it. So then I picked up another book, but didn't want to read it for one of my prompts in my 52 books. I can't remember. Anyway, I ended up reading My Murder by Katie Williams, and this is a great book. I rated it 4 out of 5 stars, and this was a very easy read. I read this physically and enjoyed it so much. Lori is murdered by a serial killer, leaving behind a husband and a baby. The government decides to clone her and the rest of the women who were murdered by this same serial killer. Not Lori, Lou. Lou is returned to her life, but she is struggling and she can't figure out why. Then the last one that I finished was my Read Your Bookshelf Challenge book, which is Broken Melody, and I chose Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's side, and it had to have a dog on it. And this is about Liz, and she runs an inn, and she has a dog named Beans. He's right there, and you can also see him on the back a little better. Anyway, they have a music competition in the town, Pleasant Creek. I don't remember the town. And there are 2 groups staying at the inn, a girl group and then an all male group. The all male group are a cappella singers, and the all girl group are like pop singers. And there are some people in town that are voicing their opinions that they do not wish for this competition to take place. So some threatening phone calls are coming in, some posters are being displayed, but then things get worse and the threats are taken a step above. And so, yeah, it's up to Liz to figure out what is going on, because the cops don't really have the means to, it's petty crimes, they're not really doing anything about it. They have other things that are going on. And so I gave this 3 stars. It wasn't my favorite. I liked the other book a little bit better. But there's also a lady who comes into the quilt shop that is inside the inn and says that the ladies that are running the quilt shop have stolen her grandmother's designs. So they have to solve that problem too. So all in all, it's been a very good reading month, and I've enjoyed the books that I have read, and I haven't felt too pressured to do very much reading. Well, I haven't felt too pressured to read, So anyway, I also did not bingo on my TBR-a-thon. I got really close, but didn't make it. And I got this one and this one and this one. I got my free space. That one, that one, that one, that one, and that one. And then an orange one here. But I really did enjoy it. I'm glad Leandra from the TBR Zero put this out. She had sprints throughout the month, and I enjoyed getting to meet her, and I ended up following her channel and a bunch of people through her, and I'll link her down below. And it's just been a great start to the year. So if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you want to see more from me, hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you in the next video.